Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I'm going to do a bit of a recap because I get an awful lot of comments where I think people don't always have the time to go back over past videos of mine. And I'm getting a lot of comments in regards to the children, why I believe that Archie is over here in the UK, what is my thought process around that, why I think the way I do. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to give a bit of a recap here so you can understand my thought process, because sometimes as well, things change. Things change from when I did a video, say a couple of years ago to, 6 months ago to now. Other things have come up. So I'm going to do a bit of a recap with that. So if you want to join me in this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe so you do not miss future uploads. But now it is grab your drink of choice time. Don't forget, if you want to join in this, then my email address is going across the bottom here now. Send in your videos. You can be as creative as you like. You can include yourself, your fur babies. You don't even have to be on camera. You can grab some other picture or include your family, friends. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is. I love seeing the creations that are coming in. So please send in your videos, because after I do a few, I start to drop off, and I want to keep this going. I don't want to have to stop doing this, because I like including you all. So yeah, so send those in. So here is the next one, and so I hope you enjoy, and I will see you in a minute. Now, before I get into this video, I have to say that this is all alleged for my own, covering my own behind, I guess, and also adhering to YouTube rules and regulations. A lot of the things that I put up here are going to be sourced from the public domain, but they are also my thoughts, my opinions, based on my years of knowledge working in the world of analysing behaviour and what is kind of said, what isn't said, etc. So I'm going to give you my thoughts on all of this as a recap, because I do understand that not everyone has the time to go back searching through older videos. I will say that I do have playlists, so if that helps you, go and check out the playlist, and then that will give you, the various videos that I've done that include those topics. So the situation with the children, why do I believe what I do? Okay, so Megan, in my belief, given the way that I've seen her behave and what I know, is a narcissist. Now, obviously, I cannot diagnose her with narcissistic personality disorder, but I certainly can see from my own eyes and ears that she has narcissistic traits even. How does a narcissist behave when they're around children? Well, to be honest, they don't particularly like children. They don't really have a lot of tolerance. They might act like they do, because at the end of the day, a narcissist will act and do to whatever is their agenda. So if it means that they like a child because they want to, say, get with their partner, they will do that. And then then the behavior will change. So if we're going to look at the surrogate side of things, so being led to believe that, say, Meghan and Harry used a surrogate, here's why I do not believe this happened. One is that Meghan is, like I say, is a narcissist. Narcissists do not inherently like children. They do not really want children, but they will have children as a means to control their partner or a means to manipulate. But that means the narcissist would become pregnant. So the narcissist would become pregnant if it's a female, or if you have a male narcissist, they will tend to get their partner pregnant quite early on as a means to secure the relationship, or feel that they've then got a permanent element of control over that person. They will then use these children as a tool, as a weapon. They will, if they have more than one child, then what you will tend to find is you will have one child that they will grow up in their image, and the other one will just be someone that they ridicule and they put down and they don't really have a lot of time for. So we're being led to believe that Meghan fell pregnant. Well, I've already shown videos on why I absolutely do not believe in any shape or form that Meghan was pregnant. And if you haven't seen those videos, I would invite you to go and watch those ones. And if you look on the playlist Children, it shows a lot of these videos of why I believe Meghan was not pregnant. So rather than going into all of that again, and I think most of you here are adhering to that Meghan was never pregnant. I understand the whole weight gain thing, but again, I've explained that too. So let's go with a surrogate. I do not believe, given the knowledge that I have with narcissists, that she woke up one morning deciding to have a child and then deciding to go with a surrogate. And the reason being is because narcissists like control. By going with a surrogate, for various reasons, she would have to relinquish control, because the control literally would be with the surrogate. She's also then allowing another woman to carry a child, which, okay, we can argue the fact that Meghan doesn't want to be pregnant. So we can look at that. Meghan doesn't want to be pregnant. She doesn't want to ruin her figure. And that's very viable, okay? However, we go back to the control. To have control over your partner, you've got to create, in a way, a child that's yours, because a surrogate is not theirs until an adoption is had, a legal adoption. There's been no legal adoption for Archie because it would be on the public domain. There is nothing legal that Harry and Meghan can have, even no NDA, no nothing, that gives them any rights over this child until a legal adoption has been made. So that means that when they then decide to use a surrogate, the surrogate can do whatever she wants, even choose to keep the child until the adoption has been made legal within the court. So this is the two rules of thumb. Meghan decided that she wanted to use a surrogate. I can't see Meghan doing this. I generally can't. So then you look at, okay, Meghan decided to use her frozen eggs. Again, no legal document until an adoption has taken place gives Meghan any rights, even though they are her eggs in the UK. So people are expecting us to believe that Meghan decided to relinquish all control, handing it over to the surrogate, and also the child either having just Harry's DNA or, say, Meghan's eggs. But again, she's got no control over this. The surrogate can do whatever she wants until a legal adoption has been made. And I cannot see Meghan doing this. Firstly, with her eggs, because at the end of the day, the surrogate can choose to not hand the child over. They'd have to go through the courts, which would be incredibly messy. That hasn't happened. And again, Meghan is then taking the chance, and so is Harry. You remember, this is a child with royal blood. So Harry and Meghan have decided to take a chance on a surrogate, knowing there's nothing legal that can bind that surrogate to them with the child. So she could just be like, yeah, no, keeping the child. I do not believe in any shape or form that neither Harry or Meghan would decide to use a surrogate knowing they have no control, no legal document to say that that child is theirs. And then it's the finding the right person. You know, this is quite a big thing. If you're going to decide to go with a surrogate, this is a huge thing. Not only have you got to then, you're coming up with the idea of using a surrogate, which in all fairness, I'm not sure I believe Harry nor Meghan would come up with the idea of using a surrogate, because that just seems a bizarre thing to do for a narcissist. that one day she wakes up one morning and goes, do you know what, I would like a child, but I can't have children, or I don't want to get pregnant, so let's use a surrogate. Oh, but there's no risk, there's huge amounts of risks involved, because there's no law that gives us control of the child until we've gone through the court system. I just don't buy it. I just do not buy that Harry and Meghan kind of decided out of the blue to use a surrogate. Plus the fact, say they went through this and they had a chat with somebody and they trusted this person, there's still no legal document and there's no legal court case that shows that they've gone to court to legally adopt Archie. So that's why I'm of the belief that Harry got somebody pregnant. Now, hear me out, because I understand that there's still many of you that say, absolutely not. There's no way that Harry would have stepped out on Meghan because he absolutely loved her. Right. Firstly, Harry, I don't believe, is capable of loving somebody in a healthy way. I think he'd possibly become a bit obsessional with her. He might have even loved the fact that she was very good sexually even. But love, no. You've only got to look at the wedding video, and again, go back and look at that. You can absolutely see by Harry's face that there is something very off about the wedding. There was even, in my opinion, something very off about the engagement interview. This is not a couple in love. There might have been a bit of infatuation. At some point, Meghan has done something to secure this relationship. They fast-tracked the wedding. I do believe that. And I have belief, in my opinion, that I think it's very possible that she faked a pregnancy. Now, again, allegedly, this is just going from how I know and believe a narcissist to behave. They are quite capable of doing things illegal, immoral even, to get what they want. I'm also believing that once she possibly secured the engagement, maybe she then had, and I hate to say this because I just think it's such a horrible thing to think, but unfortunately, I'm going to be honest and say that I do understand how narcissists can work. And so I do think then she potentially faked a miscarriage. Now, this would also then explain her weird miscarriage story that she later put out. Mind, or even in Harry's mind, there's an element of truth to it. Now, Harry is not the brightest bulb in the light box. I'm trying to think what to say there. So if you put yourself in this situation where Meghan gets the tools and the means to create this situation to happen, and again, I understand that this is not a nice way to look at it, but when you have the fact that she's already feigned this alleged suicide when she's allegedly meant to be 6 months pregnant, and nobody picked up on that. Nobody picks up on the fact that, hang on a minute, you're wanting to take your own life, but you're also then wanting to take the life of your 6-month unborn child. There's something very wrong here. So we know that she's capable probably of saying the worst things. And so it's not a far stretch to feel that she would have got the means, which can be done. And again, you've got to remember, she's also knows the world of acting, knows how to, because this has been created in movies for eons. So she would know how to do it. So you can imagine Harry coming home, and I'm setting the scene a little bit here. Appreciate this is all alleged. And he goes in and finds that she's there and there's blood. And Harry says, oh my gosh, we've got to get you to the hospital. And Meghan goes, no, I don't want to go to hospital. I will call my mum, or I will do this myself. This is humiliating. This is embarrassing. I don't want the media to see. And Harry goes along with it because he doesn't know. I mean, how could you're not going to say in that moment, or you're lying. So in his mind, if she's in a way acting the part, she's probably there crying, left eye go, whatever it is. It's very conceivable that Harry would believe her. Now, we know as women, most of us know, and even maybe some men, that you would have to go to the hospital to make sure that there was nothing, and I do apologize if anyone has gone through this, because I know this can be deeply triggering, and I am sorry, but it's important to talk about this in a way that shows that this woman is capable of anything. So you would go to the hospital and you would have, I believe it's called, is it a DNR or DNC, where they would look and make sure that everything has come out and there's no infections or complications, etc. But Harry, again, is not bright. So if she turns around and says to him, just get my mum, or no, I will just deal with this myself because I'm a trooper, Harry's very possibly going to go along with it because he doesn't know. So that's why I think later on we've had the miscarriage story. I think it was, I believe it didn't happen, and I believe it was a lie. So it's not a far stretch for her then to then create any other lie. If you're going to go that far into this with your lying, you're going to lie about anything. So then in a way, Harry's kind of beholden to her, because what she will then use, which we know that as a narcissist that she would use this, is, well, I was pregnant and I lost a child. You know, so she would use this as a means to potentially then go ahead with the wedding even. You know, this is why I possibly believe that her dress was ill-fitting, because when she had the dress fitting, she was probably trying to make it look as in, like, by the time the wedding comes, I'm going to be pregnant. This is what she's telling Harry. So the dress needs to, you know, cater for that. And then, of course, in amongst that, she's had the miscarriage. So Harry then feels trapped. And I do believe that, as much as I think there are probably other things as well, because her behaviour would have shown by now. By this point in the relationship, he would have started to see what she was like as a person. But I think because of the fact that she told him she was pregnant, and trust me, there are ways and means to create, and this is what's so awful now in a way of social, of online, is that you can create fake pregnancy tests. You can create fake baby scans, and I'll put some up here to show you. So you can imagine that if she goes to Harry with this fake pregnancy pen and says, look, I'm pregnant. But before she goes to the actual doctors, she miscarries. And by that point, Harry feels beholden to her. So then it's possible that at some point, say even after the wedding, something happened within, we know that the marriage is not a marriage made of love or made in heaven. It is very possible that Harry possibly could have found out the truth, or he's found out something, or something's happened within the relationship where he feels that he doesn't like her, doesn't love her. So he steps out, he goes out, he gets drunk, he does some crazy stuff. And in amongst all of that, somebody falls pregnant. Now, whether or not there's been rumours of it being a staff member, don't know, but it could make sense if it was. So then this person has a child, because this is what I believe more than anything else is why we have had everything that's happened since, in my opinion. So it's very possible that they may have thought that by finding out that Harry had been unfaithful to her, that she would be walking away and they would come to an arrangement. But Meghan, being the narcissist that she is, and is not willing to give up her cash cow, has used this opportunity as a means to secure even further evidence to gain a tighter grip on Harry. So what I would imagine then, what she said is, I will be the supportive, dutiful wife. I'm so hurt and disgusted by what you've done, but I will be the supportive, dutiful wife, and I will pretend to be pregnant. And that is why we then had the behaviour that she displayed when she was in the media. The moon bump flashes. That was a big tell for me. The fact that there were times when it was so obvious that she wasn't pregnant. She didn't care. She was doing crazy things like eight months pregnant, kneeling down with knees together in high heels. Now, I'm not saying that people who are 8 months pregnant haven't worn high heels. I'm sure that some might have. But you cannot, in my opinion, bend down with your knees together. There wasn't any footage of Harry helping her, being the supportive husband. Why would you not be? If your wife is pregnant and you're about to have a child, why would you not be supporting this person all the time? You know, the gentle touches, the just the loveliness of it all. But there was nothing. We never saw anything. And then, like I say, the constant moon bump flashes. And what I believe all of that was her, in a way, toying with the royal family, because she would have known that the royal family would have probably said something at this point to the media of, you cannot talk about this. I do absolutely believe the media know. I absolutely, because I'm not being funny. If we can see it with our own eyes, how have the media not seen it? Why have they never called anything out? There's been absolute complete footage of her which shows that her bump grows, or the photographs of 1 minute she's flat, then she's out here on the same day, or then she's back to flat. You know, the classic one of the one where the moon bump seems to drop. Nothing from the media. And again, I hate to say it, but I also feel that the royal family do know at this point. They may not have known in the beginning, but they did at some point know, because there is no way, being around her in close proximity, that they could not see that she was lying. You know, women know. You know, Catherine has been pregnant enough to know, so has everybody else, and the women there. So at some point they probably would have had conversations saying she's not pregnant. So either one or two things: they duped the royal family, then the royal family found out, or they found out, Harry went to them and told them that he'd been unfaithful, and that this was Meghan's suggestion, and the royal family were forced to go along with it because they didn't want to expose the real mother. Because you've got to remember, even though I know a lot of us are saying, oh, well, she should have come forward, I don't see why the royal family wouldn't have just said, oh, this is an illegitimate child. You've got to remember, at the time, you've got Meghan, who's probably going, if you expose this, you humiliate me, I'm going to literally expose the lot of you. You know, you've also got probably the real mother, who's terrified of everything. So the royal family have done what they thought was best in protecting the whole situation. So they've gone along with Meghan and what Meghan has suggested. And this is what I truly believe. And this is why I also believe Megxit had to happen. Because as much as her behaviour was terrible, I think what was the straw that broke the camel's back, if you like, was how she treated the real Archie. I'm not being funny. When you look at Duck, Duck, Rabbit, this is the first time we're properly seeing Archie in real, you know, close up. And he's there in a diaper, a full diaper, and a baby grow. She's a narcissist. She would have wanted the child, if the child was hers, that baby would have been in designer gear. She would have been advertising, merching, designer baby gear. Absolutely. There's no way that she would have allowed her child to be on camera at all. And there was no maternal, you know, the child was wriggling. You could just see there was no bond there. At one point, Meghan even looks irritated. So then I believe the real mother said, no, enough. I have been told, I don't know for sure, that the relationship really broke down between the real mother and Meghan. And she basically said that she didn't want Meghan having anything to do with the child. Now, again, you've also got to look at the fact that there's no way that could have been done here in the UK, because with royal events, stepping out, etc., people would have been starting to ask questions as, well, why is Meghan never with Archie? Why is it always Harry? Or why do we very rarely see Archie when there's royal events? Because there would have been too many questions to answer. So I am of the belief that that is why Megxit happened. I think, again, allegedly, is that after all this happened and then Meghan's behaviour escalated, they told her that she had to leave. And sending her to Canada, because Canada is part of the Commonwealth, was kind of like the best option in a way of kind of like, right, you go to Canada, you can still be part of doing royal duties, if you like, being over in Canada. And they were probably trying to find a way for it to run smoothly, knowing what Meghan was like. Now, of course, Meghan, being Meghan, wouldn't have any of that. She would want it her way, her stipulations. Now, Harry was left behind at this point, because we know that to be the Sandringham summit. What I believe was happening there is Meghan was shipped off to Canada. She didn't like that. Harry was behind and probably trying to negotiate and trying to work things out. And it was probably Harry where they said to Harry, you've either got to stay. So it's either Meghan, you're done, you're gone, and we'll work this out somehow. But Harry, you've got a choice. You can either stay and you two divorce, or you go with her. And then you have a year, say even a year, to work this out. And if you can work this out and sort this out, maybe you can come back. What happened in between that then was then Meghan did the pap walk, the Canada pap walk, which I've shown you before in the with the doll. And again, the media said nothing. It was so blatantly obvious she was walking with a doll. And if Harry knows the truth and the royal family know the truth, they're going to look at that footage and know that she's walking with a doll. What that was I believe a signal to the royal family if Harry doesn't get over here and join me, I'm going to expose you. I'm literally going to act up and do whatever it takes to expose the lie. And because she's a loose cannon, I think the royal family said to Harry, you're going to have to go. You're going to have to sort her out. And that's why I truly believe that Harry wants the apology, because even though he doesn't like Meghan, he's now beholden to her because she knows the truth. There's the blackmail. If you leave me, if you do anything, I'm going to expose all of the truth. I'm going to expose the fact that you forced me to lie about being pregnant. I'm going to expose that it's because you didn't want a biracial child. You can imagine the sort of things that Meghan's threatened to say. So you've literally got to go along with everything I say now. Now, having an illegitimate child is not the end of the world, but if the reasons behind how Harry got somebody pregnant were not very good, if the person was a young staff member even, not very good. So all of these things coming out are bad enough potentially. But then you have the fact that Meghan, given everything the royal family have just gone through with the racism and everything, you then have Meghan spewing all of these lies. The royal family probably feel they just can't deal with anymore. So it's better then just to let her get on with it rather than expose the truth. And I think that that's what's happened. So Harry then turned tail and left and went over there. And that's why he's been miserable ever since, because he didn't want to leave the royal family, but he was forced into a situation. He's publicly gone out and said, well, they owe Meghan an apology. And I don't believe that he believes that. I think he's saying that because she says, well, you've got to say this. You've got to defend me. If you don't, I'm going to expose you. It's like, you do what I want or I'm going to tell everyone the truth. I will leak it. I will do whatever it is. And so all these things where he's come out acting like he's defending Meghan, I don't think he wants to defend Meghan. I actually do believe that he's doing a lot of this because he now realizes that he's in this situation with her. And unfortunately, it's like with two people, if you feel that that is the only person you have now, you know, you're kind of stuck. And so he's making the best of a very bad situation. I don't think he wants to be with her. I genuinely don't. I think that it's now a business arrangement. I think that he's in a sort of an alliance with her. I think he's angry with his family because his family have dished out consequences now that he's never had before. So he's basically been told no, and he doesn't like it. I think that he's more angry with his brother because his brother has always protected him. His brother has always forgiven him. And now, because of Harry's own actions and the actions of his wife, Prince William has just gone, I'm done. I'm done. And no matter what happens, I think Harry has now realised that it's gone too far. So his anger, I believe, is coming from this hurt, which we know some people will do. You know, if they're really hurt by somebody's actions, they will act out in a way that you're kind of like, why are you behaving that way? You know, hurt people hurt people. And I think that I'm not excusing Harry's behaviour because I think Harry's behaved appallingly. But I believe that I understand why he's doing it, not that it makes it okay or right. And so I think that they are now in this alliance together. So Lily, I'm going to discuss in another video because this one has gone on for half an hour and I'm very aware that a lot of the time you guys are like, your videos are too long. I know some of you love my longer videos, but I also want to be considerate to people who don't have all the time in the world. So I will do Lily in another part. I've got a couple of great videos coming next week. So my Lily I'm going to do after that. So I have had a great interview with somebody. So I'm going to be showcasing that on the channel as a part 1 and a part 2, because even though the interview was only meant to be 20 minutes long, they ended up speaking to me for a whole hour. And in fact, I had more than one conversation with them, and they agreed for me to interview them. So yeah, it's been amazing. So I hope that you will enjoy that, and that's coming next week, part 1 and part 2. So let me know what you think in the comments. Do you agree with what I'm saying in regards to Archie? Do you still, after listening to all of this, do you still believe that Meghan, as a narcissist, would wake up one day and decide that she wanted to use a surrogate? Because, like I say, I don't. Like I say, narcissists want control, and there is no control with a surrogate, and there's no law here in the UK. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. You can contact me in various ways. You can contact me by my PO box address if you want to send me something. My email address is there. You can follow me on other platforms, which is Instagram, Substack, Rumble, TikTok. Got to remember them all. To become a member, don't forget you can do that, and you will get the benefits of being a member. I've got 3 different tiers, so you can decide which one you want to join up to. If you would like to treat me to a CUPPA because you enjoy what I do here and you want to support me giving free therapy to people behind the scenes, then that's also wonderful, but not necessarily, because I always ask you to look after yourself first and foremost. Everything you need to know is in the description box of every single video. My PO box is also in my bio and my email address. So if you can't get to the description box, go to the bio of my YouTube channel, and that gives you some information there as well. Now, if true crime is your thing, then I've just started a new channel called Coffee and Crime. So this is a passion of mine. I've been wanting to get this off the ground for over a year now, but I've been down the Harry and Meghan rabbit hole, so I've not had time to do that. But I've just done my intro video. So if true crime is your bag, if you are somebody like me who loves the psychology behind what happens within serial killers, etc., and delving into the mindset of why people do what they do, and then not only that, giving a voice to the victims and the survivors of what has happened to them, this will be the platform for you. So if you want the link to that, go to the end of this video. You will see a round circle which says Coffee and Crime. Click on that and it will take you straight through to my channel. And so I will see you over there with the first video, which will be coming next week. Don't forget to send in your videos for the Grab Your Drink of Choice if you want to be part of that. But as always, as you know, I love you, I appreciate you, but most of all, I respect you. Take care. Bye-bye.